Why do I keep? Let me see. I don't know why I keep singing "Shy." The very first time. All right, what are you guys drinking today?
I'm drinking
Man,
tea.
Hmm.
Tea.
Tea.
I am doing wine. However, I was very, very low on my Cabernet Sauvignon. So if y'all see me in the middle of an episode, switch to a Sauvignon Blanc. Mind your business.
I was giving alcoholism. Okay. I am drinking filtered water because I went to the nail salon today because they had messed up my Russian manicure, and uh, they were so apologetic. They kept saying, "Please get some wine so we can make it up to you." I said, "No, no, no. You fixing my nails for free was more than enough." And she kept on saying, and I felt so bad that as I was waiting for my Uber, I just guzzled a glass of wine. No, not wine. Champagne with 3 minutes. So in 3 minutes, I guzzled a whole glass of champagne on an empty stomach. I forgotten that I hadn't had breakfast yet. When I showed up
That's
to my house,
exciting.
it was something. When I showed up to my house today, Rock the Boat by Aaliyah was playing internally inside my body. I had to crawl to the couch. I almost texted somebody. You guys ever want to test somebody something risky when you're a little tipsy?
For sure.
All the time. Who
I
doesn't?
I almost sent a risky text at 3 p.m. I was like, yeah, I need to take a nap
That's
because
what Sunday Fun Day is all about.
today is Tuesday, Jeffrey. It's Tuesday. So that felt interesting. Speaking of texting things that are risky, shout out to Lutasha for talking me into talking to a man that I was going to curve, Lulu.
Woo-hoo.
Jeffrey just watched. Jeffrey was like, I'm not getting into it. I'm
I
just
think by the time I saw it, it was like hours after. And so I was like, okay, well, she's clearly already gotten what I would have said.
Is that what you would have said, really?
Yes.
He probably would have made you do more, okay?
For those of you who don't know the story,
Whip
I'm
it
gonna
out.
oh my heavens. I am trying to be discreet here. For those of you who don't know the story, I'm gonna pick my words carefully so friends follow my lead. Someone attractive and popular has been trying to speak to me. And my first thought was, you too shiny, you got too many abs, too many bitches, too much money. It just smells like trouble. My first thought was, it smells like trouble. And Lutasha told me to stop fucking around. Apparently, Jeff would have told me the same thing had he gotten to the DMs in
I would
time.
have told you to start fucking around.
You know what, Jeffrey? Oh my heavens! Well, this is supposed to. You know what? This is supposed to be a conversation about. I was really internally working through it. As women, we always say we don't want to be judged based on how we look. I was very openly judging this man on how he looked, and I can't figure out. I've been taking a poll all week. Is it discernment or judgment? Because you would think that a man who is attractive in a peacock kind of way. You guys saw his page. He's a
Yes.
peacock, right? So a man who's attractive in a peacock kind of way, who's popular and who has money, I immediately think fuck boy and headache. So is that me being judgmental or me being discerning and not having any energy for headaches? That's what I want to ask you guys today.
I, I think it could be both. I mean, it's 2023. Anybody got social media, that's judgment and discernment because it probably is a chance that they are a fuck boy. But yeah, I think it's a little bit of both.
I like that, Jeff. How about you, Lulu? We keep it a buck because I know you will, child.
No, I think I don't like the idea of judging off of, all that kind of stuff. Even though it points in fuckboy, I just think that everybody should get an opportunity to show you
To fuck you over first?
if they actually, I feel like there are way more signs until the actual when you actually really get fucked. There are
I
so
mean,
many steps.
you should still
Yeah.
talk to him. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he could be a fuck boy, but I mean, right now he could be your fuck boy.
I don't want a fuck boy. I don't want a fuck boy.
You could see once you start engaging and talking and hanging out, you can see that he is a fuckboy, and then you could just stop talking to him. Like,
Or you could see how deep the fuck boyness goes.
Jeffrey, you are on demon time.
Last week y'all found out I come off very fuck boy-ish, but Blue, you saw it in the cards. I am a big old puppy.
Internally. Yes, your heart. You have the heart of a puppy.
It comes
You have the
out when the
heart
right
of a
person
lover.
pulls it out. Y'all pull it out of me.
That's true, but you also not fucking us.
right, that part.
That part. Some people are really great as friends that you see them date. You're like, you're a demon. Oh my God. I've actually met people who I thought were amazing and I dated them and I was like, oh, that was a mistake.
You're like, ooh.
Yeah. Are you guys the same way in your well, we're in a Jeffrey's answer. He just said he's an angel to his friends and a demon to you said that you're a lot. That's the language you said you were a lot.
I can be a lot. I
You
can be
can
a
be
lot.
a
I've come
lot.
down. I've calmed down as I've matured and gotten older, but I can be a lot.
How about you, Lulu? Do you think you're a lot or the same when you're dating and when you're friends?
I think I'm a lot with both. A
I
lot
love
of
the
fun.
self-awareness. A lot of fun, yes. And by fun, she means did you die? Did you die? Or in the words of Lulu, did you get arrested? No. Did I get arrested? I'm actually totally different in relationships versus dating. Totally
Like,
effing different.
in what way?
I've dated several people who, well, this makes me sound like, oh shit. Well, I've dated a lot of people who are my friends first. And the number one feedback I get is that I'm so different that some of them like it, some of them don't. I'm a lot more spicy and mouthy with my friends and socially. I am a
I,
house cat romantically.
Why do you think that
I've
is?
Because the world has you fucked up, but your partner shouldn't. Like, if I can't be chill at home, where can I be chill?
I've
Fair
never
enough.
dated anybody that I was not friends with first. So I've never like had a blind date or met anybody and was like, we should date. Like everybody I dated, we had a friendship for a long or good period of time. And then it was like, oh, I think I like you. Oh, okay.
Well,
Let's
see
do
here,
this.
Jeffrey, you and I have similar charts, and a part of me wonders because I had an ex one time who said that it was a she. She didn't like that because now she's looking at my friends like, well, who got next if we don't work out? And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa! You call me a hoe to my face. Do you think that's a concern though? If you're someone who has dated a lot of friends, does that make you a risk to your partners if they know that they were your friend before and the next one might also be your friend?
No, because it didn't happen until it happened. Like it wasn't like this, like, ooh, I met
What's
you. And it's
that
like, ooh,
mean,
I've had these
Jeff?
Jeffrey,
feelings.
Jeffrey, hold on. Thank you,
Like,
Latasha. My face is like, it
literally,
didn't happen until it
Latasha.
happened. What does that mean?
Yeah. Like
I
I'm literally
mean,
going back, I'm thinking about all three of my exes. And when I met them, it wasn't at all this initial, ooh, I think you're cute, or I might have some sort of a feeling for you. We became cool and just I think in getting to know that authentic, real person, because it was no guard up, it was no airs of
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to impress you. It was just
sure.
kind of like and I will say that all three of them trapped me. I didn't ask
But
any
you
of
were
them.
single when you had you
Oh
weren't in a
yeah, I was
relationship.
single. Yeah, I was single. But I wasn't like,
Okay.
ooh, we should date. They
Jeffrey,
trapped
every
me.
time you talk, you are just a flight. Like it's just like, oh, he sounds so good, and then he don't. I can see why the kids are nervous about you,
The
Jeffrey.
kids are
The kids are
Ain't
nervous.
nervous.
nothing to be nervous about me. I
Oh,
am a
friend,
gentle. I am gentle. I am kind. I am giving.
you're
Eyes
I'm
all those
cool.
smart.
things. I smart, as wonderful.
Oh yeah. Eyes
I
giving.
have a good heart until I
Right.
don't. He
Right.
said it didn't happen until it did. That sounds like
Right.
premium fuckboy antics. It didn't happen until it did.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
Eyes
gonna let you.
block you.
Well, it's so funny because as I was struggling to talk to Shiny Bay, I've decided to give everybody names because it's the only way I can stop myself from getting canceled. Because I feel like everybody I'm talking to has said things to me over the last 2 weeks. They're watching the pod. So now I'm
Wait a minute.
uncomfortable.
Everybody you talking to? How many? I thought it was just one. How many you over there talking to, Blue?
Jeffrey, this is not how friendship works.
Mm,
Wow.
I'm
Wow.
just paying attention
Blow
to
up
the
her
words you speaking to the
Wow.
people.
Wow. Wow. Can we I wish we
These
edited this.
nicknames, do they come with emojis in your phone?
I am not answering. I plead the fifth because Jeffrey has just made me
Lutasha, she got eggplant, got devil emoji.
Right.
I'm gonna just say Shiny Bay. But here's the thing. Nobody.
Tornado.
Right.
I'm getting roasted on my own show. This is how it works. This is exactly how Jason be
No,
feeling.
my favorite one is
Uh-huh.
the shaking face.
Right.
Oh snap.
That's the one that's almost knocked off her feet.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Nobody has. How do I say this? I have ADD. If anybody was doing what they needed to, I wouldn't have plurals. So I'm not talking to anybody who makes me feel like I need to invest in one person, right? So
Way to get out of that one, Blue.
yeah. I'm fighting for my life, Lulu. I'm fighting for my life. Jeffrey, you are a Judas, okay?
Right.
Did it
You are a
again.
Right.
you are a whole ass fucking Judas. What I was trying to say is Shiny Bay, the one that you and Lulu told me to give a chance to, has horrible banter.
Oh, I
No,
hate
no
that.
conversation.
Easy,
Sweet. I don't
Sweet
know.
girl.
No, sweet girl, beautiful gowns,
Beautiful cat.
beautiful
Gorgeous
stomach, beautiful face, right? And you know what it is? I don't even know if he's stupid because he's not talking enough. Like he hasn't even spoken enough. It's a lot of how was your day?
Mm.
I can only do but so much in a day. Like, ask me something else. Can we talk about something else? And I try to make jokes because I can be funny, and he'll laugh, and then he'll ask how my day was again. And I'm like, oh,
He's
Now,
like,
do these
yeah,
jokes in reply,
WYD.
are these HBU?
Right.
right. I'm just like,
Do your responses and jokes, do they end as a statement, or do you also follow it up with a response for him, a question for him to respond?
They're cheeky. I'm a cheeky bitch. Like, being cheeky comes very naturally to me. So I'll say something like, he asked me something. Okay, I don't want to say too much because he's watching. Fuck. He'll ask me a question and I'll answer in a way where I say something like, when they say your intrusive thoughts one, I'll share an intrusive thought that's kind of cheeky, and then it'll leave it open for you to say something back, like, throw the ball back at me. And he'll be like, ha ha ha, you're so funny. I was like, oh, thank you. I appreciate
Great.
Is this thing on? Like, so, like, yeah, you guys, this is why the fine ones with money, like that's, I'm sorry. And Jeffrey, even though you say you're not the same, you're the same way. I don't care how fine you are, how much money you are. If I can't have like sexy back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
I can't do nothing with that. I can't.
And in the beginning, I like for it to be like, a little covered up innuendos.
Right, little risky text.
Little risky text.
If I had sent him a risky text today, if I had sent him a risky text today, he'd be like, "Are you drunk?" He wouldn't have had anything to give me back.
I mean, that could be a conversation starter. Go for it and see what happens.
I don't want to have to say. I don't want to have to say. Did you guys?
You don't have to initiate all of it. Is that it?
It's a turn off if I have to be the alpha, because I'm not naturally an alpha, and I've noticed about all people, men and women alike. If you start off pretending to be the alpha to get the wheels turning, they'll let you keep on doing that.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, I was just trying to do a temp job. I thought I was going to throw it at you. You want to catch it.
That's exactly why I don't like meeting people to date them. I want to have already known you, had that comfortable relationship. That whole like.
That's why you fucking the friend group.
Right. Making his rounds.
It's so luckily and you know what? Luckily, all three of my exes have been complete. Like, none of them are the same friend group. So it's not like.
Oh, so you spread to mess around. Okay. So I'm spreading from group to group. You pollinating ass.
Equal opportunity.
Maybe that didn't sound like it did in my head. It didn't come out.
It sounded like the truth. It sounded like the true friend. Well, funny enough, Jessie Wu, we know her. She's a very funny comedian. She actually did a post where she said, everyone thinks that it's actually easier dating when you are high profile, but it's actually trickier because people think they know you. And she and I had a really great back and forth about that. And in the midst of us having a back and forth on Threads, shout out to Threads. I've been hanging out there more than Twitter lately. Probably because I don't feel like anybody knows me over there. So I feel like I'm talking into the abyss. And in the middle of it, a colleague of mine jumped in and said, yeah, Blue, remember that time I was going on a blind date? She had met somebody on Hinge or something, and she wanted, and it was like a group activity. So she was like, I'll bring my girls, you bring your people, and we'll all like meet at the same time. So I'm coming thinking I'm coming to support a colleague and meeting someone they met off the internet, making sure she doesn't get, end up on Dateline. The person showed up, and within 3 seconds, their friend said, oh my God, you're Blue from Hollywood Unlocked. I love you so much. And like went on this rant. And I was like, oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Didn't think anything of it. Apparently, that disrupted the entire date. The energy was off. I was like, okay, I'm a distraction. I left so that they could like focus on her. She said the whole date was ruined. And I was like, girl, you invited me. You know what I do? You do the same thing. And so my question is, have you ever, because you both, we live in LA. We all know people who have public figure jobs or celebrities. I think those are two very different things, right? Like, we're public figures because we're doing this podcast. As people who are public figures and have friends who are celebrities, have you ever perceived that you or someone that you know who's in the limelight in any kind of way is being judged, or there's a distraction around them having a face that people might know? Because I was shocked when she told me that story.
Yes, and his name is James Bland.
I knew it. I knew you were gonna say James Bland. James, shout out to James. You shiny, tall, sexy motherfucker. Because
listen, that is our in one of my friend groups that I have not dated in. No, that is our running joke. I pray James. James is honestly one of the greatest people on this earth, and we just always joke about how anytime, Latasha, you've been there. Whenever we step out, we go to Denny's, we go to Norm's, we go to the liquor store, we can go to Latasha's house. If it's anybody there that has never met, oh my God, you're J.R. Bland. And I'm like, you don't even know him. You call him J.R. Bland. Get out of his face.
It's James.
It's James. You don't even know him, but no, yeah,
But
that is
it doesn't
yeah.
help that he's like 6'6" and fine. So like I feel like even if he wasn't J.R. Bland, people still would be like watching him and seeing what he's doing and where he's going and all that.
Yeah,
Okay, Latasha, we get it. Okay, girl.
And the girls, I actually, the first time you guys introduced me to James, I was like, he's such a lovely man. I posted a picture of all of us, a group, like 11 attractive people, right? Nobody in the group is ugly. That's one thing I will say. Don't know if this means we're shallow, but you guys have never introduced me to anybody unattractive. And I posted the picture, and my friend who's in a long-term relationship was like, I got a man, but that one right there kind of fine. I said, a girl, he's not even batting for our team. Like, what is happening?
That's what somebody said. One of my friends was like, how come you don't date that J.R. Bland? Like, what's up with that? And I was like, I mean, it's not without trying, okay?
Yeah, I mean, it's so it's.
I'm gonna take a razor blade to his face.
He's like, I'm the pretty one, you tall motherfucker. If I was 7 feet tall, I'd be getting it. No, but what is it like watching people fawn over? And do you think it was hard for him or anybody in his kind of limelight to date? Because I'm hearing that even the girls who are not as shiny as James, and by girls, that's gender neutral in this room, guys. Girls with a W is gender neutral. But the girls are struggling to like find dates without being judged when they're seen like that. Have you seen that up close and personal?
You said when they're celebrities?
When they're celebrities, when they're well known, people assume that they know them based on what they've heard a lot of times.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes it's not even about based on what they know. Like I have a friend who's like a fashion influencer. Mm-hmm. And so she doesn't have and she does fashion like literally for women, like just it's like women. She's not like wearing tight shit, bending over cars, doing squats and deadlifts.
Damn,
like
she's very specific.
She's like
not hoeing.
She's not hoeing. So she has a lot of women followers. And she was telling me that she hates giving men her Instagram because she has so many followers that they're like immediately intimidated. And she's not even it's literally her page is like literally for women. And like you could tell like it's not sexual at all. She's like trying to tell you where to get the clothes, trying to tell you where the deals are, where you get your nails done, stuff like that. But she has a huge following. And she said constantly dudes are like, oh, call you big money. Oh, you big money.
You know how I feel about men calling me big money. I hate that shit. That means you're broke or you're insecure or both.
Right.
I have call me big money. And I've heard this, Latasha, I've never understood people. What is it about social media numbers or public positions that make people so intimidated? Like
you don't get 1 million followers accidentally.
Yeah, but
that's intentional.
But why is it? I guess I would like for someone who does get intimidated by to explain why is that intimidating?
Intimidating isn't the word that I would use. I would say for me, it can be a little off-putting if you are someone who is getting millions of people looking at you as a peacock, and peacocking is because social media is a full-time job. There's no 9 to 5 for social media. So if you're a full-time peacock and you're constantly being fed that endorphin high and serotonin of people constantly praising you, it does often, not always, but it does often create a very conceited and shallow and self-absorbed kind of mindset that I don't personally find attractive.
But I think that it depends on like what kind of platform you have too.
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I mean? So it's like if you're not like if you're sharing information, like people who have 1 million followers who are like vegan chefs and like
they be the biggest hoes. What are you talking? That was a bad example. They be
I'm not saying they're not a hoe. I'm saying their platform is not like
that's not what they reaching for, Blue.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Okay.
I don't know. I think that also like I'm not like a huge Instagram personality, but I feel like there's been a lot of times in my life where I've been judged by like the way that I look and also, being an athlete and all this kind of stuff. And people have always made assumptions. I think maybe that's why I go out of my way to be like, well, let me see exactly who this person are. Like, I'll never forget when I was in college, I was like doing a group project in my major and this girl was like, wow, you're really nice. Like, I thought you were a hoe. And I was like, well, first of all, hoes can be nice.
Okay.
That's true.
Hoes are the nicest.
Right.
by definition, you have to be nice to be a hoe.
You got to be nice. Keep them numbers up.
Right.
I never judged them until I dated them and was on that kumbaya shit. And the biggest betrayals and the biggest headaches and the most psychological trauma I've ever had was from those people. So for me, it's PTSD. No, from the really shy. I thought to me, oh, you're shiny and you're pretty and you have a big platform. You're misunderstood. And then I was like, oh no, they were all right.
Well, I just like to take the things on a case by case basis. Is basically what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, I'm not saying
No, I
you're wrong,
agree.
and you can, if it's working for you, I'm sure you're killing it at life and the decisions that you're making. But I just like to actually see, and then if it continues to be right, then it is what it is. But I still like to take it with a grain of salt because just because you tall don't mean you play sports, and just because
That's
what I'm
true.
saying, like it's just like something like that for me personally. But go
I've
off.
had two bad experiences. Maybe third time's the charm. Because it was a bad friend experience. The most psychotic friend I ever had was a major influencer who I thought was a pretty girl who's being misjudged. She's actually a horrible human being, and dark-sided. And the most bitter, angry, conceited, stupid man I've ever invested time in was also
that B in bitter. It came from
right. It came from the gut.
Deep blue, right?
He tried to mess with my money. And I don't wish him well. He was also someone who I thought was like, oh, everybody thinks I'm a fuckboy, I'm a nice guy. No, you're also demon and dark-sided. So I think because I've fallen for that so many times, twice, but they were both back to back. I think it's kind of giving me like, they're not all wrong. Some of you are horrible people.
I think that it's okay to take pause and take people with a grain of salt in general.
Yeah.
Like, to me in life, my thing is I'm trying to be open-minded. Like, I'm not trying to be like, oh no, I'm just like, hey, let's just see what happens. Because I feel like people are going to show you who you are. It's very hard for them to not, especially for an extended amount of time. So my thing is
very
just
true.
like, I'm going to be open-minded. I'm not going to prejudge, but I'm like, if you showing signs of things that happened to me in the past, then that's different. But I'm just going to wait to see the signs before I make a judgment.
See, and that's why you dating a friend group.
Jeffrey, oh my Lord, nobody is safe.
Y'all out here dating strangers.
Wow, James, if you ever become single, please do not go to Jeffrey's house.
Kill James playing.
I thought you and James playing spades. It was the first time I ever saw James get angry.
Oh yes.
James is a gentle giant, but he told Jeffrey he had to find his own way home after the spades game on the 4th of July. We were like, oh, Jeffrey needs to ride home.
We have since made up. That is my brother. Y'all know.
With his tall, fine stuff. All right, so the topic that I want to talk to first today, because that was an interesting warm-up, and thank you guys for helping me work through that. What I'm picking up from this conversation is, Jeffrey, you were actually right. It was half judgment, half discernment. I think I was showing discernment because I've been burned so many times. Yeah. But I am happy that Lulu talked me into still giving this person a chance, because who knows, he might not be the demon that the other two were. And so it's at least fair for me to try it out and see who all's over there and if he's a decent human being who just happens to be fine. We ask you to
marry him next week or anything. Just talking about have a little fun. What's what you say for the summertime? I mean, it's
a little shimmy. Well, it's the summer in Australia. It's always summer somewhere. Speaking of, we're not asking you to get married. Let's get into the Ashanti topic, because I want to talk to the girls under 35 who are talking with bass in their voice about things that they don't understand.
And talking about things with income they cannot understand.
Right.
Yeah.
First of all,
I will first say this, right? I want to thank God that the three of us did not have social media as popular as it was when we were that young.
Thank God. Thank the sweet baby Jesus.
Because we sounded just as stupid as y'all do. So please understand, any conversation that we're about to talk about how stupid y'all sound, how fucking dumb y'all sound, we too sounded stupid.
We're there.
We were there as well, right? We just didn't have TikTok to like make it permanent. So I just want to say that we're speaking to the young lady who did a very ill-advised, ill-informed, and short-sighted video outside of her tax and age bracket about how Ashanti is a pick-me for allegedly being pregnant with Nelly's baby, because his last girlfriend said that she wanted to have a ring and get married before having a baby. And here you are, a rebound chick getting knocked up without a ring. You look stupid. That young lady was not around for most of the 90s. And so I find it deeply ironic that she has so much to say. And there's been a big debate now about, first of all, bitch, Nelly, one of the things she said was, oh, Nelly just wanted kids, and now you got a 45-year-old baby daddy at the end of his life, and you ain't even got a ring. First of all, being 47-ish is not the end of your life. That's not how math works. Unless he has a terminal illness, he will probably live for many more decades, statistically speaking. Number two, when you are someone who is 43, 20 plus years into your career, and a multi-millionaire who's been on perpetual vacation for the past 10 years. Ashanti has been on vacation for the last decade. So clearly her money is long.
She is the definition of the soft life.
Right. Yeah. When you are a bitch who's been winning for longer than the person talking about you has been alive, you might not look at marriage the same way because marriage is an institution that not all people need at a certain tax bracket. So you don't even know what Ashanti's conversation around marriage is to begin with. Who says she even wants to be married? Number three,
That's what I
who are you
said.
who are you to call somebody a baby mama? You don't know what conversations they had, especially with fertility being an issue. If you're 43 and rich and you and your nigga finally figured it out and got the right therapist and you got one egg left, I might want to have my baby before I plan a wedding, even if I even want a wedding to begin with. So I was very triggered by how stupid this young lady sounded, but she was talking with full bass in her voice. And so Lulu hit us up and she was like, "Are we gonna talk about Ashanti?" I said, "Hell yeah, we are." What are your thoughts around the discourse around Ashanti and Nelly in general, and also about the reaction to the pregnancy this week, allegedly, because they haven't confirmed it yet, I don't think.
I personally, okay, so everything that you say, I completely fucking agree with. And I think that, first of all, she's not a rebound because I feel like he always wanted her. I don't know why they broke up. I don't know what happened, but the way that man was chasing her around that
the versus stage.
That versus stage.
He's like, "Give it to me. I want you. Come back."
Right. Please, baby, please.
Please, baby, please. I ain't never seen a black man beg like that in public since the 70s.
There are cameras everywhere now. He didn't give a damn. Like, he was like,
I want you back, baby.
Right.
That other lady mean. She mean, Ashanti. Right. I miss you. She mean.
And I feel like he would have left Chanel or Chantel, whatever her name is. I think he would have left.
You don't know either.
Ashanti. I feel like he would have left her for Ashanti and been like, "Oh, you want to get back together? Cool. Yeah." So, I think that every relationship is different. He clearly didn't want to marry that girl, or else he would have. Who's to say that him and Ashanti aren't also going to get married? And back to what you said, marriage is really a legal contract that's supposed to be beneficial for both parties. Mm-hmm. And not everybody wants that. Back to what you were saying, once you're in a certain tax bracket, there's really no reason for her to want to marry Nelly if she don't want to. Like, there's no benefit. Like, she's rich on her own by herself, and then maybe she doesn't want to have to worry about sharing a
assets and
doing the assets, having the lawyers involved, doing all that kind of stuff just to make sure she protects herself. And she spun the block, so she was like, you know what, I'm happy now. And the only thing that I will say is that sometimes
okay, Whitney Houston, I love when you do it. I said sometimes. You guys have to find that clip that she's referencing. It's hilarious.
Sometimes I think that Black women, and this goes back to kind of what you were talking about earlier, like Ashanti is famous, she's beautiful, she's rich. She don't have a ton of options of like really viable candidates. So I don't think there's anything wrong with her spinning the block, especially like you said, if they got the right therapist, or whatever, they work through whatever issues that we're having and now they're happy. Great. I think that's wonderful. Sometimes, I don't even know if this is the case with Ashanti. I feel like Black women will just be like, all right, well, fuck it. Like, I really do want to have a baby and we're doing all right now. So let's just give it a fucking go. Because she's like, what's the worst that can happen? We don't work out and I'll be rich with my cute baby.
Literally. Ooh, what a horrible life.
Right.
now the baby's on vacation too. It's her and the baby on vacation.
Matching outfits.
Right.
So horrible. What do you think, Jeffrey, as the man on the panel?
I stay out of these celebrities' business because I'm just like,
we're on a pod, friend. You can't do that again. Like,
I know. Like, I mean, it honestly, it makes sense. I feel like Ashanti and Nelly. Yeah, I remember they broke up, but I feel like Ashanti and Nelly have been Ashanti and Nelly for a long period of time. So seeing them get back together, like y'all said, who was chasing around on the versus stage. I mean, it was very clear that something is still there. It's very clear that this man is still in love with this woman, right. And if she didn't want him, we would have known it because she ain't gonna give him just attention just because, she don't need to. Because
he was trying for a very long time before she finally said yes and showed up with him. Have you guys ever had somebody date you, fumble the bag, like go all around the world and and realize that, oh snap, you were actually might have been it? Has that ever happened to you?
Yep.
I felt it, friend. It might be a tourist thing. This happens to us a lot.
Listen.
It happens to us a lot.
No, it's definitely happened to me as well. And like, I really feel like, I don't know, but I feel like he always wanted her this whole time. And she was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just take a beat. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm gonna need you to act better, whatever. And then she was like, okay, it seems like, you've grown up, you've changed or not, or whatever. Maybe she's in a different space. He's in a different space mentally. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I definitely know it was definitely not given rebound, desperation,
Stupid baby mama.
none of that
Look at you,
shit.
look at you, look
None
at
of it
you.
seemed nothing like that. Yeah.
I
Nothing
was
like
watching the
that.
video, like, did I miss a whole like news week? Like, what news cycle did she get this data from? And you know what? To the young lady who made the video, I actually usually like her takes on stuff because I find her really spicy and thought provoking, and I love seeing this new crop of young people like having critical analysis. Unfortunately, this one was a dub. I can't see anything redeeming in what you said, and I will say this, young lady, please invest in condoms because if you ever in your fucking life get knocked up unmarried, the internet will remind you of how stupid you sounded today.
They definitely will. But I think that also people need to start reevaluating. Like a lot of times people act like the goal for all women is to be a wife and be married. And it's just simply untrue. Like
Yeah.
it just isn't. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like everybody has their own path, everybody has their own walk. And marriage is not only thing. A marriage is literally a legal contract that's supposed to be beneficial for both parties. And I remember I was telling this guy because he was like, "Oh, you all there, but you still single." And I was like, "You think I can't get married if I want to?" I was like, "Every bitch on this planet can be married if she wants to. There's a nigga who will marry her. There is no shortage of niggas. There is no shortage of niggas in your face. It's just, I mean, it may not always be the one you want, but you can get
that part.
You can get a nigga to marry you. Like it's not difficult." So, but I'm like, marriage would be a byproduct of me finding somebody who I wanted to build a life with. Like,
yeah.
and even still, like that, it's not necessarily true. Like with them, they're both rich. So it's just like sometimes you're combining assets to do something. Like, what's his name? Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
They never got married.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was like the greatest relationship right there.
So
I just heard that Cheryl Lee Ralph and her husband, after 20 years, finally officially moved in together.
Yeah.
Is that why they lasted 20 years?
Right,
It might
exactly.
be.
That's
Worst
the secret
decision I
sauce.
made was living with an ex.
Would you guys do that? Live in separate houses from your partner?
I would.
Jesus,
I
Natasha, I
wouldn't
felt
mind
it.
either
I felt it.
either separate houses or a big enough house where it feels like we have that much separation.
I would love us to have our own playrooms where, because I'm a cuddler, so I do want to sleep in the same bed. But if I'm on my cycle or you're annoying me, I would like to have my own space and you have your own space. Like the option to disengage when needed.
Yeah, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Seriously.
So go to the other side of the house and I'll see you next Sunday.
Each other every single day. I like that. Like even we can spend 5 out of the 7 nights together, but just knowing that you have a place to go, that's great.
Because sometimes you need a little break, a little air, especially if you lived alone for so long.
Yeah, but 20 years, I'm wondering what made her finally move into his room. Like, what made her finally say, like, hey, let's all be together in one space?
I thought it was that he was living like in Pennsylvania and she was living in LA and they were
that
going
is
back
wild.
and forth.
That might be the secret. Vacation sex be amazing.
Separate apartments in the same city. I can't do long distance. Like I can't do that type of.
Here you go with the long distance slander.
I mean, again, for some, but for me, yeah, I can't be in a completely different city or state. Like I'm talking, your house is 20, 30 minutes maybe, but
you won't even go to the valley, friend.
Oh no, I ain't going to the valley. No, we ain't dating. That's long distance.
Okay, so Jeffrey, what if you're dating an actor or someone who's a celebrated figure who has to constantly be away for films and stuff?
That's different work.
That's what this is for Cheryl Lee.
But is your residence like here in
That's
LA?
Semantics. In real life, you gone for 3 months at a time because you are doing a movie or Abbott Elementary or whatever else. That's semantics. In real life, she has to be gone. She's in LA for film and television, obviously. He's in Pennsylvania because that's probably where his life is. And so I feel like when there's a really good reason and it's a bigger than life reason like that, I think most people would actually eat the long distance thingy. I would, honestly. I wouldn't mind having a partner that I could visit. Honestly, the one thing I will say, even though I was a little bit hesitant to date an influencer of a certain magnitude, I would love, and I'm gonna look at the camera. Can someone please take me on a branded content trip of some sort that I don't have to pay for? I would love a free vacation because my mom has recently told me that she's concerned about how giving I am, and every week she'll call and say, "You didn't buy nothing for nobody, right?" And I'm like, "What do you think I am, a sugar?" And I was talking all this shit like she's so crazy. She's getting older. I went into my Expedia account this week and was looking up something, and Expedia keeps a track of everybody that you fly out. Baby.
Flying out? People?
No, like family, friends, booking sometimes.
I was like,
right. I'm like,
I don't understand. I don't understand. It does not compute. I don't.
Or if there's a vacation and I'm dating someone, but I'm planning the vacation, I'm like, give me your information. You can just sell me the money because I'm the one who's gonna do the accommodations. Because if I like it, you'll like it. Like I'm the bougier one when it comes to travel accommodations. So folks usually give me the money and I'll book it because by the time I like it, you've already been liked it. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at this list. I'm like, look at all these motherfuckers I have made travel accommodations for, and
Well, that's
80%
easy.
80% of them I paid for. Because family, friends, and a couple of times it was like, oh baby, it's your birthday, I'm gonna take you to Vegas. You know what I mean? So I've realized that I've spent a lot of fucking money flying people around and taking people on vacations. I have never had a single human being outside my mama take me on vacation.
Not
So
even
that's my
men
new
you're
do is
dating.
okay. So all you gotta do, you gotta get that thirst trap up.
Right.
You're gonna
Let's
get flued out real
first things
fast.
first.
look, y'all said thirst track. I pinned extra buttons to my neck and I'm just like a stud today.
No, we gotta get that thirst trap up and ready to go, and you're gonna be flued out by New Year's.
Right.
Ooh, that's very soon. Well, you know what's funny is I was thinking about this. Yeah, and to Lulu's question about dating, I've realized I've only been courted by people with money. I've never been in a relationship with people with money. I think courtship and relationship are very different. So I've had people with money court me, but as far as we go together and you got a bag, no. I ain't never gone together with somebody who had a bag. It's usually they're trying to use money to get some cookies and whatnot, and I feel uncomfortable and then I cut it off.
Got it.
I think a relationship with somebody with money would be very different. A part of me, I think, word about control. Lulu, you can speak to this. You too, Jeffrey, because we know you pretty and shit. Have y'all ever had a full relationship, not just courtship and dating, but a full relationship with someone of means, and was control ever an issue for you?
Yes.
Because that's the reason why I've never bitten the bullet and committed, because we were courting and the perks were great, but the control issues always turned me off. How about you, Lulu?
The short answer is no, but
Oh.
I feel like no, I feel like this is gonna sound bad, but I feel like when you're with somebody like that, you can kind of manipulate the situation so he always feels like he's in control, but you're really in control.
See, cancers, y'all think cancers are so sweet. They are the most. Oh my God. You are exposing your side. I'm always saying cancers are some cunning motherfuckers. Behind all them hugs.
My issue on that part is, see, I got too much mouth.
Same, friend. Same.
That's the thing. I got too much mouth. So where, like Lou said, to the point, yes, you can let them always feel like they're in control, and really
she'll laugh in your face,
sitting there pulling the string. I don't know how to be that nice and cover it up. I'm gonna tell you what the fuck I ain't gonna do and what is going on. I got too much mouth, so that it's.
I'm so happy that you finally admitted that the 30 million wouldn't shut you up.
Well, it's never been anybody with 30 million. I would say they've never had 30 million.
Money makes you more of what you already are.
For 30 million, I might shut my ass up.
No, you have more mouth. I know you're not talking crazy to me. I know you're not talking crazy to me in my wing of the house. You got me fucked up.
Wait, what?
Right.
30 million, it might change. If I hit that, I'll let y'all know. But so far, it's been acute, but not 30 million.
I'm gonna go back to when he was being honest. Too much mouth. Thank you for being honest, friend. I've had too much mouth.
There's a difference between having mouth and letting them feel like they're in control, because I'm pretty mouthy too, and I'm talking shit all the time. But it's like it's really like there is an art to it, honestly. But because it's not like you're like meek and just like whatever it is you like. Like,
oh yeah, hell no.
Like you're just
damn, Jeffrey. Jeffrey almost got a case from the hypothetical. Goddamn, friend.
Because I'm not even like that, but it's just like the perception of it is really all the perception.
You talk shit all the time, but you're laughing all the time, so you can get away with it, Lou. That's really what it is.
Maybe
me and Jeffrey don't laugh enough. Like we our face get real stoic. Like, who you talking to?
Oh yeah, I wear my
ain't no LOL
on my face.
Yeah, we don't have the LOL in our face like you do. You can say some real greasy shit.
I really think it's funny though too.
Yeah, that is menacing. Oh my God, she's like, oh, you think I'm laughing with you? I'm laughing at you.
How I'm feeling is written. Was it? It's written all over my face.
All right, let's not say too much. We don't want to get a copyright strike. What the body?
You don't have to say over. Oh, what's the name of that group? I need to add it to a playlist.
You know what? Jeffrey's auntie playlist. I love it. If there's something from the 90s and early 2000s that is a B-side, Jeffrey probably has it on a playlist somewhere. Well, speaking of playlists, we have to talk about this. The Renaissance film debuted this weekend. You're of a few. It made history. I'm going to read the stats real quick. It got 100 on Rotten Tomatoes, which is a huge rarity because, Rotten Tomatoes is where the haters love to dwell.
Hellscape.
It really is a
for
hellscape. So
film.
to get 100% is like the God himself stopped the haters from finding you. It grossed 11.5 million on the opening day alone. It broke the record for the highest post Thanksgiving opening Friday of all time. The last time somebody had a record that was even close was The Last Samurai 20 years ago with 8.4 million. Beyonce had 11.5 million. So she beat the last time by an extra 3 million. She's now officially the highest grossing tour of 2023, despite speculation that it would be Taylor Swift. And she has now grossed over $570 million this year just from Renaissance.
She did how many shows? Because I only saw one
55
show.
shows. She did 55 shows.
She performed almost 2.5 hours for the one show I saw. So 55 of them.
55 shows with 3 million attendees globally. And the entire project took 4 years. Now, objectively speaking, so we know not everybody loves Beyonce. You don't have to. I don't love Taylor Swift. I never will, right? I think you're all nuts. So I do not think you have to love Beyonce. But even if Taylor had these numbers, I'd have to objectively say that's impressive, right? And so what I found interesting was I did a review on the Beyonce film because I was stunned that I thought I was going for a biopic about a film, like a concert film. But I was really moved by the tributes she made to the village of women who are helping her raise her children, to her Uncle Johnny, who died of AIDS. And to her family and her mother in particular, who's her matriarch, right? And seeing her love on her tribe like that really moved me because, you know, families is one of those things I think moves all of us. All three of us are very, very much attached to our families. And I'm saying that because not everybody is, guys. I know some people who say, fuck them kids about their parents, right? So to see someone at that height of success look into the camera and say, the only reason any of this is possible is because of my mama. Like, there would be no Beyonce without Tina. And I think we all know that, right? And I was so moved by that I was stunned that a couple of days later, a woman named, I'm just calling Miss Bastian, I don't want to say her full name, wrote a hit piece on Beyonce where it wasn't an intelligent critique of a billionaire, because there's a lot of critiques about being a billionaire. Being a billionaire is an unnatural economic state to be in. We can all agree to that, right? To make $1 billion, something unnatural had to happen for one person on the planet to have that access to that kind of money. Instead of being a critique about capitalism, it ended up being a hit piece that was like talking all this shit about Beyonce. And a lot of it was factually inaccurate. Things like, oh, she's just using her dead gay AIDS uncle basically as like, you know, leverage for promo and to tug at our heartstrings, but she's not really for us. And she never talked about him before that. That's not true. There's literally video of her at the Fashion Awards dedicating the award to her Uncle Johnny and talking about his struggle with AIDS in the LGBT community. So she was saying really nasty personal things that were factually inaccurate as a matter of record. And so what broke my heart is a lot of people who I respect were so busy saying, well, we should be able to critique Beyonce. She's not Jesus. You're right. We should be able to. And conflating that with this Black woman for a white publication, they probably thought, well, we're going to have a Black woman write it, so it can't be problematic. And she still ended up being on some coon shit, in my opinion. So what do you guys think about the way that we critique people? Because is there a line? I think there's a line, but is there a line in your minds around critical analysis versus being a fucking hater with a bullhorn? Like, where do you think that line is about critique versus you clearly hate this lady and just were looking for a reason?
Some people just like to be contrarians. You know what I mean? Like, everybody likes Beyonce, so I hate her. She's terrible, garbage, ooh, tomato. And it's just like, really, honestly, like, if you have a problem with Beyonce, you have a problem with yourself.
Wait, are you part of the Bayhive? Wait a minute, that's a Bayhive statement, friend.
I feel like I'm more like you said, a beekeeper.
Yeah, sorry, Beehive, not Bayhive, because they dragged me for saying Bayhive. Beehive. I just know how to read phonetically, but Beehive. We're beekeepers. We're in the vicinity of the bees, but if anything goes wrong, we got questions.
But it's just like I feel like the thing that you can't dispute is like her work ethic. Yeah. Like, that's really the thing. Like, she works hard, like she's one of the hardest working people like you've ever seen, and you can tell by the way that her production comes together, like how hard she works. Like, sometimes she don't even have to work so hard because she's so above like almost just about everybody, and she still does it. And I'm like,
for herself
and her own perfection. And I think that's you got to respect that shit. Like, even if you don't like her music, even if you know it's not your genre, like you don't like the dancing, like she works hard. I think she works hard, and she bigs up her family. She big up Black people. Like, anytime she's on a big stage, she doing some nigga shit, and I love it.
And she'll say, like, look, by the way, I'm still a nigga. Just want right. I'm still a nigga.
I'm a nigga and I'm still Houston. Like, Super Bowl, Black Panther, Coachella, HBCU homecoming. Like, she's like, I'm taking this opportunity to remind y'all. This is a reminder. Like
This is a reminder.
I'm I'm still a nigga. And I appreciate that because I think that sometimes
Times.
like people they want to fade into the shadow because they want to be more pleasing to what more palatable to white people. And I feel like she like leans in like whenever she gets a chance. Like I feel like she really tries to like lean into that and like show them like, nah, we still here, we doing this stuff, and this shit is cool, and y'all like it. So everybody keep it cute.
Yeah.
That
I was
part. How
always
about
one
you,
of those
Jeffrey?
people that was like I don't know the stats and facts and all these things about Beyonce, but I've always been like, I think she's a great performer. I love her music. I hope, like you said, her work ethic. You can't deny that currently she is the best entertainer living on this planet. I absolutely think that she is like currently living. She is the best entertainer that we have right now.
The girls are mad. And here's the thing, right? People were like, Blue, you're a cultural critic. How dare you be upset at someone doing cultural critique? That's literally your full-time job. And I said, but I don't do irresponsible cultural critique. I don't do mean-spirited
That
cultural
ain't even
critique.
irresponsible. That's just looking for views and clicks and clickbait. That's all
It,
it is.
no, I think it is irresponsible when you say stuff like someone is using gay people and AIDS as a marketing gimmick and don't actually authentically mean it. And you're talking about someone's dead family member. I think that's a little irresponsible because Vulture is a very big platform. I also think it's irresponsible when you say to a black woman, you keep on saying that you have to deal with all this fucking racism. Prove it because you're a billionaire. So prove that you have to deal with racism. Do you know how problematic it would be for a white writer to say you have to prove that you are a black person who's dealt with racism at the top of the food chain?
Beyonce's racism is in a different tax bracket than yours, Lakeisha.
You know,
that's what I'm calling.
Not Lakeisha.
No offense to the Lakeishas out there.
No offense to the Lakeishas out there. y'all got astray from Jeffrey.
And sadly, it still happens. Like even mixing wines. But sadly, it still happens to her, and she's at the absolute top of the food chain, and it still happens to her. Still.
The whole film showed her being questioned by her employees to her face as they're lying to her. She literally
wait,
said,
"Don't tell me because I want to see. I want to see. Don't tell."
Oh,
me.
you didn't watch my review?
I haven't seen because I don't want any spoilers. I want to actually see the film.
Well, it was a good review, friend.
Well, I feel like the one you're talking about is the one everybody said. Like, I want to see the film. I feel like in this one little fact, Jeff, is not gonna ruin the whole film. It's not a fucking suspense thriller.
Said, on behalf of Lakeisha, sit down. Right. No, but the one part that everybody is talking about, Jeff, I promise you I'm ruining for you. She's literally asking for some kind of 30-inch camera lens thing because she wants it to be an opulent experience. And they say that doesn't exist. She said, no, I Googled it. It does. And then she stared at everybody. And they were like, oh, we were just trying to like us. We didn't want to do no more work. But she Googled it. And in that moment, you're realizing you are working on a 4-year project with one of the biggest superstars in world history. And you just lied to her face about something that she could Google.
And was
I love that Beyonce used Google. So, oh, girl, you really are just like the rest of us.
Right. She was like, no, I looked it up. That exists.
That tells me in the 90s, she was asking Jeeves, just like the rest of us.
But like, think about it though. If she was a rich white man, I very much doubt that you would look good. Fuck even being big. Gordon Ramsay probably doesn't have to have people lying to his face when he asks for a big old skillet. They're gonna be like, we're gonna find a Gordon. You know what I mean? The most mediocre rich white man could have not had that moment, but because it's Beyonce, no matter how big she is, they think they can play in her face.
Yeah. But I also believe too in that situation, like you said before, it could have not just been them playing in her face. It could have just been them being lazy and just not wanting to do any more work too.
Just still playing in my face because I'm paying you. I'm paying you lots of money to tell me the truth. I'm not paying you money to lie. So it's one of those things of, I think it's intellectually dishonest and gross in 2023 to ask a black woman of any stature to prove that she's dealt with racism. I think it's irresponsible and gross to question the authenticity of someone's pain around losing a family member who they grew up with to AIDS and HIV. I really think it's irresponsible to blame and say that you didn't do enough for Black Lives Matter. You didn't do enough for the movement when Beyonce has literally been on public record signing over $6 million to help with the movement and build housing in Houston for the unhoused. So I just think everything she said was 45 seconds of Google searching away to debunk it. And so for you to be a black woman with the name that sounds French, I hope she's not Haitian because this might be friendly fire, but it is what it is. For you to be a black woman on Vulture, which is a major platform, and to be that irresponsible and factually inaccurate during a moment where you could have had an intelligent critique of Beyonce, because capitalism is something that we can critique at all places, right? No matter how much we love Beyonce, it's very easy to make an argument to critique capitalism in any facet. Instead of having a smart conversation, you clearly don't like this lady and you use your platform to talk out your ass. That's my issue. It's not about Beyonce. It's about you're being irresponsible. And the world thinks, listen to black women. We always say that, right? Listen to black women. I know there are folks who listen to me because they know that I'm a black woman who can't be bought off. What if somebody mistook you for one of those and now is walking around with all this fucked up information that's incorrect? I think it's gross. I think journalism was supposed to be this bastion, this height of whatever, but now bloggers are sometimes having more integrity than the actual journalists. And sometimes I can't tell the difference.
And the thing is, people confuse actual journalism with some forms of blogging. Like all forms of blogging is not journalism.
Yeah. Ms. Bastion, I think it's gross.
A journalist.
Oh, child, you know what? I actually don't call myself a journalist. I always talk about journalistic integrity, but I don't call myself a journalist because I had someone whose writing is subpar, who cannot go viral in her own house, and who nobody has no views on anything that she's ever created.
Damn, Blue.
What? I just want to read off her resume, right? Oof. So I just would have somebody of that stature say to me, "Oh, well, you're not a journalist because you were a communications major. You weren't a journalism major." I said,
I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on that. I'm gonna have to use that. You can't go viral in your own house.
You can't go viral in your own house.
You just put somebody in the grave. Damn, Blue.
And she said to me, "Well, Blue, you didn't go to journalism school. You were a communications major." I said, "Babe, the stats say I didn't need journalism school, and you went. Nobody's reading your shit." So I intentionally don't call myself a journalist. I say I'm a cultural critic because I am, and I say that I have journalistic integrity because I do. Right. So all the girls who are mad that I did communications and not J school. We in the same parties, babe.
No, but people are very serious about that kind of stuff. Like, just like even like chefs who, like, if you didn't go to culinary school, they'd be like, they do not like you to call yourself a chef. Like,
and I respect it as you're working in KFC and I'm working at a,
right. If you're working at a Michelin star restaurant,
it's kind of awkward when you're playing that game and one of us is winning, one of us is not. Yeah.
I just cater for HBO Max and I ain't stepped foot in the culinary school program.
Talk about, I'm sorry. Here's the thing. There are people in this world who have a natural acumen, right? Like, perfect example. In school, I could have skipped a couple of grades, but socially I was scared because I could barely keep up with the people my age. And there's a lot of schooling that I could have done and gotten PhDs. People are like, why did you get a PhD? Why did you do X, Y, and Z? I was like, because I'm going to school to prove to you that I'm smart. I already know I'm smart. Mm-hmm. And every job I got with the people who did get those letters behind their names, we were neck and neck. And I'm being nice by saying neck and neck. So I think at a certain point, it's intellectually dishonest to act as if a certain level of schooling or a certain level of letters behind your name doesn't in some way invalidate somebody who has 10, 20 years of doing well at that same thing without those same letters. So for the journalists out there, right? For the journalists out there who are above me, I need you to know that your journalistic integrity is still lacking. And I think it's kind of gross. And I would love someone to actually write a think piece that's intelligent and vetted and well-researched about the capitalistic mistakes Beyonce has made and how she could do better. Because there is going to be another Beyonce. Like, she's not going to live forever. I know, don't cry, y'all. She's not going to live forever. And I would love for someone to learn from her missteps because she's human. Of course she has missteps. And I feel like that young lady robbed us of that opportunity. And now the conversation has now become chaotic. I want to read a quote to you guys because the last part that I read to you from the stats was that the project took 4 years. And that was intriguing to me because 4 years ago was what year? 2019? Oh, child, we hadn't even met COVID yet. Oh, baby. Oh, honey, we were sweet. Well, recently Jim Carrey wrote a quote that said that when it comes to your dreams, you have to be willing to risk at least 1 year of comfort for a lifetime of happiness. So my first question is, have you ever had a year like that? A year where you had to eat shit to set yourself up for the next alley-oop? Jeffrey's like, bitch. And Jeffrey,
year after year. No.
Jeffrey, explain, I'm back.
No, I mean, even when 2022 was it? Yeah, coming back to LA, like,
oh yeah, you came
that
back.
was a big risk. Now, granted, I can say I don't know what it is, universe, God, whatever, whoever praying grandmas, mamas watching out for me. I do a lot of times tend to land in
all the time.
Okay.
Let's tell the truth. He's very lucky.
My version of a hard life is
most people's soft lives.
It's like the facts of being in the penthouse and all of that part.
Jeffrey was like, I hate that I have to pay rent. I was like, Jeffrey, wait, what? We all hate that we have to pay rent. That's your problem? You're mad at paying rent?
Y'all been doing this? But no, like, just honestly, just taking that, like, believing in me, even with the culinary thing, wanting to be a chef and really step into this and telling myself, I literally told myself in January of 2022 that I will no longer take a job if it did not involve me cooking. And from January 22 to December 2023, I have not worked any job that did not involve my culinary skills.
Well,
And
Oh
good
it's
for
just,
wow,
you.
that's amazing.
yeah.
Congratulations.
And
Congratulations.
this thing that I hate, rent, bills, is so stupid. The
Adulting?
lights, adulting, the lights is on, everything is on because I told myself I believe in me, I'm gonna trust me, and I'm going to do this. And here I am, still doing it. Can't wait for 2024.
Oh,
That's wonderful.
friend.
That's
It's
beautiful.
it's scary because it's the thing, like 1 month I might make $10,000 upwards, but then I might not work for the next 3 or 4 months because
Welcome to LA. Welcome to the
niggas
industry.
think food is microwaved and don't realize it costs a lot of money.
That's true. And also too,
Yeah,
because food
especially
is so
good food.
personal. Yeah, good food. How about you, Lulu? Have you had a time where you felt like, damn, I'm about to go into the valley of the shadow of death and hope I come out on the other side?
I like not completely, and sometimes I think that that's probably why I haven't like gone in further in in a more creative direction because I like haven't done that. So the short answer is
That's
no.
honest. That's really honest because I will say that there's a bravery it takes to be a full-time creative
Yeah.
that I did not fully understand until March. I was in a really hostile work environment. Everybody was quitting for their psychological safety. People were literally saying, I'm quitting because I'm going crazy. And I was like, but I'm getting so much money, I have to stay. And then I was like, no, because the money I'm gonna have to spend on therapy, I'm gonna barely break even. And so March became the first time in my adult life where I did not have a retainer check coming every 2 weeks. And I honestly, guys, I have a whole new respect for the folks who've been living on net 30 and the folks who've been living on contract work and the folks who have to kill what they eat in order to survive. Because no matter how many gigs I had, I always had my columnist job as a baseline of a couple $1,000s every 2 weeks.
Right.
When you're getting a couple $1,000s every 2 weeks, no matter how many leaps and bravery moments you have, you know that there's a cushion. March was my first time without a cushion as an adult. And I was like, ooh, this hurt. My booty feels there's not enough fat on my booty for this without a cushion.
It's very interesting when you don't have. I mean, I've definitely, prior to I was working corporate and marketing jobs. Even then, I was kind of live fast, die young with
Yes,
those
Jeffrey,
checks.
we know.
Lutasha, I'll be listed. We want where?
Flight
Okay,
risk.
that out of office message is gonna be up. But it is. I can absolutely say it's very scary. Like it is the scariest thing in the world to not have a cushion, safety net, a 2 week check, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly, and I can only speak for myself, but also friends of mine that have done it as well. If you really do believe in yourself and you're walking in your purpose, like I now know, because I mean, I've tried other things over the years. I've had a lot of different iterations of careers in my life, but I truly know that food is me walking in my purpose that I was really put here for.
Yeah.
And again, every month ain't as stable as the previous month, but it's just like this feeling of, you know what, it's going to work out. And so far, I'm a living testament. It works out.
Lou, I have a question for you. As someone who's saying that they haven't taken the creative leap yet, let's do some manifesting and prophesizing. So let's say, let's claim that Humanized continues to do well. I get my next big gig. I can finance this in a way where I'm saying, "Hey, Lulu, I need you to perhaps leave your job and working with the kids to do two to three episodes a week with us." Look at her eyes twitching. Do you have in your mind the amount of money it would have to be for you to take that leap, even if it wasn't completely safe, for you to say, I'm going to go full time into my creative pursuits, full time into podcasting, full time into working on my scripts and making this 100% of my livelihood? Do you have a number in your head that would make that comfortable for you, even if it was still a risk? Because that number is usually less than a safe number, but it's enough for you to be like, I can finesse this to put more energy.
I could, yeah. I could come up with a number.
I know you could, but
but also that number ain't gonna happen day one at the beginning of a career at all. Like my even my own personal chef rates have gone up. 2024, the rates will be going up again.
Yesterday's price is not today's price. Chicken is expensive.
Right. But listen, when I first came back, like I was that person. Like, what's your budget? Okay, I can make it work with $300 for 30 people, and
my heavens.
But I was literally that chef. And then I also realized I was getting to that point where I'm like, I think people are booking me because I'm the cheap chef. I have good food, but I'm the cheap chef. And I finally got to a place, and this goes back to our friend James Bland.
His tall,
really
sexy
set me
ass,
down one day and told me, like, I need to figure out my rate. I need to figure out what I'm charging. Guess what? You sometimes will have to get comfortable with turning down a check. Because again, in this entrepreneurial life, no check is guaranteed. So I'm always like, well, somebody's offering me something, I need to take it. It's like, no, sometimes you have to. And I can remember two specific jobs where after that conversation, I said no to because it was unreasonable what they were trying to pay
And
and
it
what they
was
were
like
asking
you're
for.
doing all this work and they want to give you 68 cents.
Yeah, you feel
Right. And
disrespected.
yeah, and then it was like literally I turned around and I booked a huge job for Facebook that was probably 3-4 times more than those two checks combined. And I was like, you just gotta believe in yourself and just keep on know what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Keep cooking.
I think that if 5 years ago, me knew that I was going to say no to 6-figure jobs because there's some 6 figures. You guys, 6 figures is a very wide range. Okay, 100,000 is 6 figures, and so is 999,000. It's a very
Yeah.
wide range. I've been offered some jobs that were so insulting at the price point for the level of servitude that they were asking of me. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, I'm about to say no to a 6-figure job because it literally is disrespectful. And that's when you know your value. When you're
Yeah.
willing to risk giving up guaranteed money to give away your dignity because you recognize you're going to hate yourself on the other side of that check. That's when you're like, oh man, that self-esteem kind of showed up out of nowhere, right? Because self-esteem is expensive, guys. Self-esteem is expensive. If you have no self-esteem, you will always be employed.
Yeah. And one thing
Can
I
we be
stopped doing
honest? Go ahead. No,
right.
what
No,
were you
I
about
was
to
gonna
say,
say one
Jeffrey?
thing also in being an entrepreneur, I stopped asking my friends for discounts and for free stuff and hookups because I'm like, now listen, I just may not come. I might just be like, okay, I'm
Oh
not
shit.
coming. But I also understand, you know what? Your landlord, just like my landlord, ain't negotiating on the rent each month. They say
Yeah.
this is how much you have to pay, and this is how much I'm asking you to pay me. So now I've stopped asking for like hookups. I might be like, friend, I can't make it. I can't come. That's out of my budget or it's not in my price range. But yeah, your price is your price. I'm not gonna argue with nobody about their price.
Yeah, it gets tricky too when you're doing something you love because you love to cook.
Mm-hmm.
I love doing readings. I love talking, and I'm like, no, bitch, that's how you pay your rent. I think the Super Bowl was my day. I think I mentioned this before. On Super Bowl, I gave away $2,000 in readings because I had too much tequila. And I was like, girl, that you giving away rent money? Shut the fuck up. Send them your booking link. So you
But
have to
sometimes I
know.
think I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think sometimes, but when you do that, it comes back to you in other ways. Though, like me, I'm always cooking and telling y'all, hey y'all, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. Matter of fact, I got a whole thing of red beans and rice over here. If y'all would like some,
Yes.
I
Why
would.
didn't you tell us beforehand? Why are you telling us on the show
Right.
at freaking 7:15 at night? What's wrong with you?
it's just
I'll come
just
over there
came to
tomorrow.
mind. I literally just delivered. I just delivered something to two neighbors that I haven't
Can
done.
you
'Cause I
deliver
have
something to
so
me?
much red beans and
I'll
rice.
send you that whipped cream that I bought you.
Oh yes, that's right. That's
I
right.
can't figure out how to use it. Maybe I'm
What you
shaking it
mean?
wrong. The whipped cream.
Not shaking it wrong.
Oh no, keep it. We're gonna use that for the thirst traps.
Yeah. I am not putting vodka whipped cream in my titties. What's wrong with you?
I like where your head's at, Jeff.
That's what you
like
thought I
where
had
your
in mind.
Right.
Okay, you know what? This is why I'm dressed like a stud until the end of the year because these two are on some Jezebel shit. As far as the conversation around the 4-year investment, it's about to be 2024. So my question to you guys, and I want you to take a moment to think about it. Imagine it is now 2028. What do you want to accomplish between now and 2028? Ooh.
2028, I will be past 40 at that point.
Oh, you just said all the information. Okay.
I mean, I'm listening. I am not
You're a
ashamed of
man.
age, so
You can say whatever you want. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
I'll be past 40 at that point. I don't know because actually I cannot say I have thought of anything past up to turning 40, I should say.
Which is what year for you?
2026.
Okay, so you haven't thought past the next 2 years.
Yeah, I haven't
What does the next 2 years look like for you?
A lot of cooking, a lot of fun, a lot of travel. But at 40, I have decided, and not what the actual definition of it is, what my definition is, but at 40 is retirement for me. I ain't working hard past 40. I'm not slaving, carrying equipment.
Jeffrey just said he started paying rent and stuff a couple minutes ago. He's like, look, you got 2 years of rent out of me.
I had enough. I'm clocking out.
And it's not even something I've been saying. Like I think I probably have been saying this since I was like 15, 16 or something. I was like, oh, at 40, I'm not working no more. Like we were not put on this planet to work until we die.
Oh my heavens. 40 is not nowhere near death, friend.
No. But 40 is a good age to start relaxation.
You're already relaxing, more relaxed than this?
It don't be feeling like it. This ain't my definition of relax. This is a lot of work that goes on. So
Jeffrey
what y'all
wants
see is
his
relaxing.
soft life to be softer.
Right, pretty much.
It's about to be mashed potato life.
Sweet potatoes, they're healthier.
Sweet potatoes, okay. So you want your life to be even softer and for you to be in low-key retirement.
I'm going to be at what my I will still be working, obviously, like making an income and things like that. It will not look like what it does in these 30s and what it did in them 20s.
Oh, the 20s were bullshit. Oh
Yeah,
my
at 40,
heavens.
I'm not
Oh,
stressing. I'm not no stress kills. And the older we got, while 40 is not the graveyard, as we get older, stressors affect our body differently.
yes,
I
they
will
do.
not be stressing over
Jeffrey,
work.
I don't think you stress much now, but I respect that you want to stress even. Nigga, you were preserved, you were pickled and soft life, but
Very
sure.
much, very much
Lulu's
so.
like, nigga, that's okay. He wants to be even softer, girl. He wants to be baby hairs. How about you, Lulu? What is your goal for the next 4 years? Like a milestone for you to be like, yes, I have to work up to this.
Um, to get into like really specifics, I'll probably have to sit down and think about it. But for a huge chunk of my life, like I had like, very rigid goals of things I wanted to do. And my life has changed so much, like based on what I thought I
Yeah.
wanted, and even just living life and realizing that's not exactly what I want. And so
Mhm.
my goal is always just to be happy and to be healthy. And like, cause those things are like the most important things. Cause sometimes I'm changing, I'm shifting my ideas, I'm shifting career paths, I'm shifting like what
Shifting
I'm
these niggas.
switching these
Oh,
niggas.
sorry.
You know what? Wow. We're gonna have LaRon just skip this episode. What
No.
happened?
That was not Lutasha specific. That was
Okay,
just
so the whole relationship switching
intrusive
these
thought.
niggas.
Intrusive thought. I'm sorry, intrusive thought.
Your intrusive thoughts have won once again, friend. They won.
I was
Right.
thinking for me and Blue. It was for me and Blue.
We did it. We did it. Switching these. Oh, Shiny Bay's not gonna return my call after this episode. That's fine. Wow.
Pass out right now, but
Is there a certain relationship milestone that you want to have in 4 years? Jeffrey, don't be
who, me?
instigated. Yes, you girl.
Hey, you're the only one in one, girl.
Right. Me and Jeffrey still in the streets. We looking for shelter.
I want us to just continue to be happy. Like being happy is so high on
Oh,
my
you
priority
the dick in your
list.
relationship. You are such a man. I just want everybody to be happy. Wow.
But that's
Wow.
really an underrated thing because people
Wow.
be talking about marriage and be talking about kids, and they be miserable with both of those
Okay,
things.
but can we do something with happiness implied? Do you have a milestone with happiness implied?
I think probably live together.
Wow, that's the big
But
one.
you know what? The funny part is though, Blue, knowing Lutasha, like her saying that, I'm like, it's very like I get it. It's very Lutasha. Like Lutasha to me is like one of the and again, we all have our own personal things, in our moments and stuff. But Lutasha is very much like probably in my top two, maybe three of happiest people on this planet that I know. She is always like, you never go around Lutasha and will be down. If you are down when you come around her, she's the perfect person to get you out of it. Like that is
Yeah,
Lutasha.
she's also
She
human,
is
so she has the full
happiness
range of
embodied.
emotions. But she's a full
Sure.
range of human emotions.
No, but I've spent some time in my life where I was really unhappy for a while. And like
Really?
once I transitioned out of that space, I'm just like, I've been very intentional about not going back. So
Yeah.
that's why like I'm open to changing out shit, like throwing something in the trash and trying something new. I'm not afraid to start all over. I'm not afraid to do something new. I'm not afraid to get rid of somebody because I'm like, my own personal happiness is so high on my priority list. Just like Jeff said, stress gonna kill you and laughing is gonna keep me alive. So that is big for me. So whatever that looks like, I'm on. Like, because I feel like what I was on 4 years ago is not the shit I'm on now. So
Oh, child, talk about it. I'm like, what the
Y'all
hell?
remember? Do y'all ever sometimes like just be sitting and think about yourself when you were a teen, a 20, a early 30?
Yeah.
Like just some of the dumb shit you thought and did.
yes.
I think about the people that I was talking to in 2019 in any capacity. Like, I'm not picking up the phone for most of those niggas. Like, are you serious?
It's like
Most of them could not get me on the phone.
I almost get a daily, weekly, at least reminder because I keep a young crew around sometimes, but I just be listening to them
Cougar.
talk. I just be listening to them talk, and I'd be like,
You dumbass.
"Ooh,
You're not gonna mean none of it. You're not gonna mean none of this.
I did think that too when I was your age. But
Once again, we want to point out to the younger viewers, we too were idiots. And so I need you to know it's not judgment, just acknowledgement.
My favorite thing is when a 25 or under says, because I know who I am.
Oh, honey. Oh, honey, come on. No, you don't. No, you
I
don't.
love that. That is my favorite thing. I know who I am.
I know my body. Remember Olivia from the Cosby Show? I know my body, child. You were 8. You know what's so interesting is that I think it's a thing that we have in common. We all manifest it differently because I honestly think that I have not been unhappy this entire year. I was talking to a friend and how I was saying, I haven't been depressed the entire year. And I think because I'm so transparent about all the shit that I've been through, people are like, oh, she's secretly crying. I have not had a depressed moment in all of 2023, despite all the bricks being thrown in my head. And when we talk, the three of us, we're always laughing about the absurdity of the shit that happens in our lives, good or bad.
Yeah.
Some of it is painful and we're still laughing. Jeffrey, we were talking about heartbreak on Thanksgiving and kikiing. Like on the couch, like cackling at like the crippling, soul crushing heartaches that we've had to endure, and like we're like, oh man, I'm gonna suck us out, friend.
It's
Like,
shitty when you're going through it, but when you're on the other side, it's like, oh, I was an idiot.
And it is a lifestyle though, where you're like, life's gonna life, but I refuse to give up my joy. That has to be an intentional choice because life is gonna always show its fucking ass. It's gonna always show its ass. The only thing that changes is you. I'm
I will
very
say I do acknowledge. Oh, I'm
sorry. Go for it.
I do acknowledge my moments of like, I don't know if I want to call them depression or sadness, because I used to just ignore them. Like,
just toxically positive, and that would kill you too. Actually, that would kill you too.
But now I do say, you know what? This is how I feel right now. Let me sit in this. Let me understand it. Let me know what it feels like, basically. But I don't stay in it.
Yeah. I be feeling bad for people who lose me. Do y'all be a lot of like, man, you fumbled because I'm a good person. Sucks, huh? Like I've never missed anybody that's fumbled.
This weekend with somebody.
Really, it sucks to suck.
Very sad. But I'm just like, oh well.
Yeah, I think being joyous past 30 in this day and age is miraculous.
In this economy.
In this day and age, look, being joy. And I think the reason why so many people say that I present young, I think we all get this, is because when you're joyous, they automatically assume you ain't been through shit. Not been through shit, it's just funny.
It is funny.
It's funny.
It's hilarious.
I have good friends that don't let me stay in it.
Yeah,
and they have also been through shit, so they help me get through it.
That's the line that they have about spirituality versus religion. Religion is for those who are scared of going to hell, and spirituality is for us who've already been there. Like, child, what the crystals at? This shit about to suck.
They didn't tell us this when we was kids.
Thank God they didn't. Like, thank God.
We wouldn't have believed them. No, they could have.
I wouldn't have RSVP'd. I'd be like,
we wouldn't have believed him. That's the thing. We would not have believed him. We was kids. We'd be like, no, I want to be grown. I can't wait to be grown. We would not have believed, oh, this is the shit y'all do as adults.
Yeah, and everything that was a punishment as a child is now reward. What do you mean I gotta go home and go to sleep? Oh, I love that for me.
Right.
I gotta stay in my room? No.
Right. Oh my God, please take me back. Let me be 8 years old again.
All right, quick question. There are people who are already creating t-shirts and memes that say, my work ethic is going to be Beyonce in 2024. She's now becoming a poster child for work. I mean, I feel like she's been a poster child for work ethic, to be honest. So my question to you guys is, on a scale of 1 to 10, being honest, what would you rate your work ethic right now, Jeffrey?
My work ethic ain't ever going to be Beyonce. I don't want to work that hard.
Jeffrey, give us a number. We know that you want to be so soft that you disappear into the air.
You know, it's...
a number, honey. A number first before explanation. A number.
My work ethic in my cooking is a...
No. Nobody said in your cooking. I said your work ethic. Look at his face.
If it ain't,
but I feel like it's different for different things. Like, you know what I mean?
Do an amalgamation.
If it's not something I want to do, then it's a 2. I don't want to work.
No, find the average.
My cooking, I'm a 12.
So 2 plus 12 is 14. So the average is 7. I'm going to do math with y'all. So a 7.
Work? Okay. Why is that even a word?
That's a 7 answer. I think 7 is accurate. How about you, Lulu? On a scale of 1 to 10 overall, what is your work ethic?
I'd probably say like an 8.
Yeah, I think mine is about an 8. Jeffrey, you went that far.
Is this a job interview? Because I need to tell you, my work ethic is 100.
You're showing you can't count for the job interview. 1 to 10, 112.
That's how I got all those marketing jobs with those great salaries.
Lying,
my work ethic was 100.
Have you ever accidentally lied into a job that you didn't even think you were going to get?
Every job I've ever had outside of what I'm currently doing, I have never been qualified for any. My life is, I've always thought life
for anything.
I ain't qualified for nothing, girl. Let me tell you.
It's like, if it's not a stove, I'm lying. Okay, without a stove, that's a lie.
I went to school to get a degree in something I knew I didn't have to super hard focus on, because I wanted to experience this thing called life. This thing called work is for the birds.
Well, Beyonce said you are the visuals. Jeffrey, the visual you're giving is a really nice scammer.
Like... That's why we have our Beyoncés, and that's why we have our Jeffreys.
Okay. So next, well, this is a 7. 7's not that bad. So 7, 8, and 8, right? So how would you say that your work?
Was?
I said an 8.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
because for something that I like, it's usually like a 10 or a 12. Like I go into tunnel vision. For something I don't like, it's usually like a 5 or a 6, which means I'm
Maybe if
still
it's food.
it's gonna pass, but it's not gonna be my best. So, do you think your work ethic, like if you have like a goal that you're really working towards, do you think that's gonna in any way impact your relationships? Because I feel like there's a lot of men now that I've been spending time with. I'm not going to mention anything else about my dating life because y'all almost caught me earlier. And I was talking about how, they keep on saying, we had a conversation last week about how, oh, I need to get to a certain level of money before I think I can afford to date. And so I was like, oh, their work ethic is literally affecting their ability to get to know me. Jeffrey, do you think because of your work ethic with cooking and where you want to be with your culinary dreams, do you think that's impacting how you date or how you handle your relationships, or you still living a soft life regardless?
I'm living a soft life regardless,
You
but
already know the
it
answer to that
depends.
one.
If you broke and ain't trying to make this soft life softer, that mean I got to work harder.
With
That's
the
what you
math
got.
ain't mathing.
Wait a minute.
I love cooking, but I would much rather cook for free for y'all and have my friends over than be doing all of this.
Wait, you don't want to have like a restaurant and you're working seven
Oh no,
days a
I've never.
week?
No, even outside, no, I've never dreamed because I've worked in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Restaurants are
All through
terrible.
college. I have never in my life wanted to own a restaurant. The closest thing for me is my DoorDash store. That is
Mm-hmm.
all I want. But no, I do not want a brick and mortar.
So it's too
No.
much work. What happens if you
It's
fall in love
yeah.
with somebody else who likes the soft life? Then what?
He wouldn't.
Damn.
I mean, how big
Wow.
is their soft life cushion?
Well, the cushion requires work, don't it? Or
Maybe he got a trust
Sometimes.
fund.
a trust fund, baby. So you want a trust
Sometimes.
fund? Wow. Jeffrey said if he wants the soft life, but you can't come. Like you have to be able to provide for the soft life.
Listen, I ain't got nothing. As long as the lights stay on, I ain't got nothing to say. I ain't asking how you do it because I don't need to be called in for questioning. But
That part. That's actually very valid. Lulu, how about you?
right.
Because I know what Jeffrey's dreams are. I know you want to be happy, but is there like a secret dream or visual you have for yourself? Because I feel like when you have friends who you're rooting for, it's nice to know what you're rooting for. Like, what is your dream scenario as far as where life could take you?
I would like to also have a soft life, like work when I want to, because I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be completely, stagnant or like not doing anything at all. But I definitely want to do something that I want to do and is fulfilling for me and makes me happy. And if I want to go on a travel for like a month or two, I want to be able to do stuff like that.
Travel for a month or two? You guys, is that still soft life, or are we just talking about being rich?
I used to do
Maybe.
like literally up till last year, every August, I would buy LA and come back at the end of the month or
I
beginning
would
of
too, but
September.
that's because I wasn't paying rent because I was Airbnb my property.
Oh,
Okay, so we all just want to be gone for months.
I just
I'm
want to
gonna
be
play.
white.
I'm gonna play a video for us because we're talking about soft life, we're talking about legacy, we're talking about dreams. There's a video that I saw that was very interesting to me, and it was around the conversation of the legacy of Sean P. Diddy Combs.
Uh-oh.
And it was about, look at Jeffrey's face. It was about
Took a left
why
turn.
we're talking about legacies and whose legacy has been up for debate more in the last couple of weeks than
Yeah.
Shaw P. Diddy Combs. By the way, for those of you who are watching my stories, I was talking about how I did not post my Wrapped or my year review because the devil was busy in my top 5. My number 1 artist for the year was Diddy. And it's not because I was listening to Diddy's, because I was listening to Tiana Taylor and she's on Diddy's album, but he gets the credit. So imagine how I felt when a big old red devil looking picture of Diddy popped up as your number 1 artist is Sean Diddy. I was like, this is not, no, Satan is busy, right? So technically my top played artist of the year is Tiana Taylor, but because Diddy calls everything Diddy, Apple is telling people that in 2023 he was my top artist, and I feel a way about that.
As
I
you
think
should.
I think it's wrong to do that. I did not hear his voice in anything. I was listening to Tiana Taylor. But anyways, there's a lawyer who is making the rounds right now because she's explaining why she thinks, and you guys know I mentioned this, I think I might mention it before off the record, I'm not sure if on the record, several sources directly connected to the case. Choosing my words carefully, journalistic integrity. Several different sources directly connected to the case have told me that Cassie got 100 million. It's been confirmed enough times now by enough different people where I'm like, it was definitely 100 million, right? Allegedly. I don't want to get in trouble. And so when we were trying to figure out, damn, how did he pay that 100 million so fast? Like it was within hours. There's a lawyer who's gone viral. Jeffrey's like, he got 100 million. Yes, we know, Jeffrey.
Like,
No, but the ego is a powerful drug, and Diddy has been allegedly stealing pennies for years. You know what I mean? So how do you go from stealing pennies to now suddenly giving that much all at once? And there's a lawyer who's gone viral for explaining it. I'm going to do a screen share so that we can explain it. But because of how I live my life, I need to make sure that there's nothing else that is open.
Why are you doing that? I was gonna say, Lou, did you post a year in your Spotify or Apple Music? What you do?
I didn't.
I
Did
saw
you?
mine, but I didn't want to post it.
Oh, you were embarrassed because you were doing some hot girl shit.
No, actually, it was funny because I had to, it was so my top. It was the most random thing. It was definitely Drake, Beyonce, and then it was just one curveball in there. Where I was like, I can't post this.
Who?
I'm gonna tell y'all.
I had Diddy, so you can't get worse than Diddy.
Countess Luann de Lesseps.
Okay, no, I'm embarrassed for you. No, that's embarrassing. Please, I'm gonna cut that out. The edit.
I was so ashamed when I
no.
See, Latasha don't know who the Countess is.
Good. You should be ashamed.
It was because I was doing a rewatch earlier this year, and
you had her horrible music. Countess is a horse voiced, and some would say
don't come for the Countess. Countess is
reality
Taurus
star.
She's a Taurus.
That's fine. So sometimes God has six L's. Countess has a very questionable voice, and she whispers.
Not questionable. It's bad.
Well, she's in your top 5. You're talking crazy for somebody who got her in your top, but she has a questionable voice, and she does cabaret. It's very imagine just bad spoken word by a white woman, and apparently Jeffrey likes the sound of her voice. I'm gonna play this audio right now. Hold on, I'm gonna do a quick screen share. We've never done this on the show.
Look at us.
Look at us evolving. All right, I'm gonna do the volume.
Close your Pornhub tab, Lou.
Oh, I already did, honey. I already did. Ciao. Let me see. Let me put in.
They didn't sue just Diddy. They sued his corporations.
They sure did.
And they sued his corporations and sued in her capacity as an employee. When you do that, it triggers commercial liability insurance. Yeah. And it triggers another policy called directors and officers. Okay. And we know he's a director of these companies as the CEO. So now you got 2 policies.
Mm-hmm.
What happens then is it takes away Puppy's ability to settle. It's not his choice no more.
So it's no longer personal accountability. It's his organization.
It's his organization. And it's no different than like if you hit somebody with your car.
Listen to this part.
Let's say you have State Farm. State Farm gets to decide to settle, not you. You could say, I didn't run the stop sign. That's not true. They're lying. If State Farm says, we don't care, we did our investigation, we're settling. That's it. That's what happened here. So because they added those claims, the corporate insurance carrier got to say, read over it and say, oh, hell no, we giving her the money.
We're hearing you.
So do you guys hear that? She's saying, and she's a lawyer, and I'm going to explain who she is in a second. She's saying that this was like an insurance claim where because they went after the corporations and not just Diddy as a sole person, that's why he didn't actually have a complete say in settling. It was a choice that was taken out of his hands, which was a great alleged alley-oop from her lawyers. What do you guys think about that? The thought that Diddy literally did not have a choice, and she basically painted him in a legal corner where she knew that somebody else was going to do the right thing, even if he wouldn't. Because that's brilliant if it's true.
Yeah, I was saying smart. Shit.
And the insurance companies probably have like more money to throw around anyways. Like obviously Diddy has tons of money, but just like literally liquid $100 million to be like, here you go, girl, without going through litigation for years and decades and all this other shit. Like, of course,
curious
obviously,
what's his deductible?
Right? Can you imagine? And then
they pay her $100 million. Diddy gave him $500.
Right? Like think about it though. Substantiating her claim is the fact that after this happened and the claim was settled, then he started stepping down. Which sounds like they were like, okay, we're gonna give her the money, and you have to start stepping down because this is a bad look for us legally. Shout out to Cassie's team. I've heard lots of things behind the scenes about the maneuvering. Apparently she had her whole tribe around her, and it's amazing how they all got around her. But what's very interesting, there was a young lady who was talking. Do you guys recognize her at all? The lawyer who was just talking?
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Dr. Simone Redwine. She's an attorney, but she's also a former cast member of the OWN TV reality dating show, Ready to Love. And she was engaged to a man who secretly had money problems and then had to publicly break up her engagement when she realized that he was secretly spending money rather than saving up for their wedding. So I found it very interesting that someone who had been publicly embarrassed for what one could call a lack of discernment in her personal life is so brilliant at her job. And I was like, damn, Simone, where was all this brilliance when you were dating that man who couldn't
He had to
find
learn. She learned from then.
But I mean, I think that sometimes you don't always know. And like if you trust somebody, you're not necessarily prying to the public life. And I remember, I think we watched like a little bit of her interview.
We
And
did.
he was just giving up this bravado and she just wasn't digging. And like that's unfortunate. I gotta be inch high private eye every time I date somebody because maybe even though you are driving this nice car, you live in this nice place, your ass is broke, even just trying to keep up this persona for me.
My
Like,
thing is that she admitted that he admitted that he was broke before they got engaged, though. So my thing is, when you found out that he had been lying to you to get you to get engaged to him, was that not a red flag to, especially as somebody who's brilliant legally? You're a lawyer.
Like
Like
she probably was
but
like, I
sometimes
can help. I can fix this. I'm smart.
did.
I make
So-
money. Like we could do it together. I love you.
Yeah,
exactly
so
what
I
she
was saying
said.
to that point, literally, honestly, I always say the heart and the mind, when you are in love, the heart and the mind don't listen to each other.
Mhm.
And yeah, he probably told, like you say, he told her, I don't have the financial, amounts that you do. But her being in love, she's like, okay, we're gonna figure this out, boo.
See, that was, and then the reason why I'm bringing this up is not because I'm judging her. I've actually been her. Like there've been times people were like, "Blue, you are too smart. How the hell did you end up in this?" I was like, "But I thought I was gonna love him and I was gonna help him fix himself, and then he lied again." She said in the pod that she was in that the moment she knew that she had to break off the engagement was when they had agreed that he was gonna save, I think, $1,000 a month up until their wedding, and instead he showed up with a sports car.
That's how he got in that situation in the first fucking
Right.
place.
She was like,
now that
Can you imagine that you are a successful rich lawyer who just got embarrassed on national television by your quote unquote deadbeat fiance, and he promises you he's going to put money away for the wedding and instead shows up with a sports car? How would you react, knowing that publicly you've gone on the record saying, "No, I believe in my man, I support him"?
Not
First of
favorably.
all, we ain't have no wedding that's gonna cost the amount of a sports car.
I mean, that's
I'm saving that money. We going to the courthouse, or we doing
I'm
this
the
little...
same way. I want a simple justice of the peace courthouse situation, a nice fun reception, and then I'm going on vacation for a month with my partner.
My reception is going to be the vacation. Y'all can come join us on vacation.
No, we're gonna be fucking too much. I
ain't throwing this party for everybody else. Those are what weddings are. Those are flashy parties that you throw for everybody else to flaunt your love. And hate to say it when that don't work out, and then we got the divorce coming. But I'm not spending that much money on a wedding. Like, no, we're not doing that.
How about you, Lulu? Would you spend money? Me and Jeffrey are the two trying to save the money for the vacation and the marriage.
I would like to have a wedding mostly because
family?
I want like getting my family together, especially like my cousins and like, the people who I don't get to see a lot. And a lot of times those are the instances when everybody really gets together. Like everybody doesn't really get together like that as much anymore. So I would just like that opportunity to get a lot of my friends and family together. Because unfortunately, when you single, if you don't have no big milestones, you can't be like, hey, I lost 15 pounds. Everybody, let's go come have a party. Like
we do celebrate.
We can celebrate that
with you. I'm beat up.
Y'all will celebrate, but I'm talking about like my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, like people like actually take time out of their lives and their days, like when you have a baby, when you get married, when you do all this stuff. So since I'm not having those milestones, like if I did get married, I would want to have a wedding. It doesn't have to be an elaborate $100,000 wedding, but I would like to do something because I just like to get my family together, especially, I mean, I see my immediate family a lot, but even like the more peripheral ones, like I just like the idea. Like when I went to my aunt's wedding in August, and it was just nice to see everybody hang out, have fun, laugh. Like it's just good. I think I just love my family.
Sweet.
So that's
yeah.
really, really
I have lots of relatives. I have very little family. I have lots of relatives, but very little family. So maybe that you're right. Maybe that does have an impact on the desire to do a wedding, because weddings are usually for your village. But if your village is questionable and always asking for money, like I don't want you asking how much it is a plate and asking if I can slip you a 20 after I do the bridal toss. I think that if you're dating someone who comes from a culture where big weddings are a thing, that might be the only exception. Like, how there's something like Africans and Indians have these big cultural.
That looked like a good time.
Yeah, that's the only time. Yeah, like if I was marrying somebody who was African or Indian, because they have those big luscious weddings.
Indian weddings.
I've always wanted to go to an Indian wedding.
I told you, Blue, I love Family Karma on Bravo.
Yeah, you do.
And then one of the main couples got married. Like it was a 7-day thing. And like, but actually watching it, what they actually do, I was like, I want to go to. I need to find some Indian friends.
I've been wanting to go to an Indian wedding for years, and my one friend who married an Indian girl didn't invite me. Now they're divorced, so that sucks.
So there's that.
I want to go to an Indian wedding, but yeah, unless I marry somebody who culturally has to have one of those things, of course I want to respect your culture if we're going to do life together. But outside of that, justice of the peace and a bomb ass vacation party.
So if it was somebody like me who was like, I really just want an opportunity to get all my family together. I'm not Indian or African, so I just
mean,
like my family.
I guess I love you for getting...
Am I gonna come? I'm gonna be there because your wedding gonna be the turn up event.
No, she's saying as far as being the partner. She said, what if you end up in a relationship with someone who's not Indian or African, and they got a big old Jackson 5 fucking family, and they want to do this big old wedding anyways.
I will, if we are in a space where planning this wedding,
who paying for it?
That's what I was gonna say. It's not gonna.
Is that big ass family paying for it? That's my question. Honestly,
but that's what I'm saying. No, as long as planning it and doing it won't actually affect our finances. Like we finna be stressed out about it. Sure, if this is what you want, I'm fine. I don't mind it, but I'm not setting out to have this grand party for everybody else. But if it's not going to affect us,
Lulu, would they pay for it?
Sure.
My parents would absolutely help.
Like, then definitely. If your parents gonna pay for us to have a big luxurious wedding for your 80 million family members, yeah, I'll show up to that. I love you. But if I gotta pay for it, I can't.
I also want to ask before we move on from Cassie and Diddy, like I feel like the fact that she sued the company and all that stuff, I feel like that changes everything for all these niggas who was like, well, if you just, you knew how he was, why you ain't get out of there? Why you ain't leave? Blah, 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 blah. It's like she sued her employer, motherfucker. Now what?
I think it was just, honestly, I think it was for Cassie. I think it was just a smart move to do that because suing him directly, like say, it would have drawn out to years probably of litigation. And also it would have been things that he probably would have been able to pull out and say about her to make her look bad. And so doing that was the smart move for her.
Of course, but the fact of the matter is he was actually her employer. Like it's a real thing. And so the point I'm trying to make is like all these niggas was talking about like Slim Thug and all my dumbass trade friends. Like they are like, well, she knew what she was getting to, blah, 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 blah. If you should be smart and get out of there and all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, well now she sued her employer because she got treated bad at work. Now what?
And I have to say, as a matter of record and chronological order, he took a 19-year-old girl and tied her into a 10-album deal and gave her one, Jeffrey's arguing, maybe 2 hit songs, and then had an abuse of power that was contingent and based on their employer-employee relationship. So it's not just a smart strategic room. It's actually just the fucking truth.
Yeah.
It's actually what happened. I think we're so busy seeing her as his arm candy that we forgot that he dangled the carrot of her being a star in her face and had her in servitude like a slave and then turned her into a sex slave. So it's not just brilliant move. It's actually the truth of what actually happened.
Yeah.
I'm Team Cassie. I like what she did.
I'm happy you're not the devil. You have to get a new co-host if you were Team Diddy. I'd be like, friend.
Oh no. I like the way she did it, the way she went about it. She got it done. She said, let's get this done real quick, real fast.
I'm gonna sue the corporation. Fuck a Diddy. Right. Fuck a bad boy. Fuck a take that. I'm suing the corporation.
Yes.
There's also see it all the time, especially and it sucks for the victims where the other person just pulls out so much of their past and makes them look like, and can say all these things about them and you did this and X, Y, and Z. Cassie said, you ain't finna tear me down. We finna get this done real quick.
Well, this actually is the question that I was trying to tie the two women, right? The Simone making the brilliant video explaining what happened legally and Cassie and her team having the brilliant strategy to actually do it in chronological order and realize that the work environment is what enabled him to be a sexual and social predator, allegedly. These two women are a perfect example of how having the wrong partner can completely undermine you and your dreams in your life, right? Because in Simone's case, she's this brilliant lawyer who's breaking down all these other cases, but she got a man who's out here buying sports cars when he can't pay rent. Cassie up here getting into business with somebody that she's in love with and then finding out that he's a predator who's basically grooming her. Do you guys ever stop and think about, because this is something we've seen a million times, how the right or wrong person that you partner with can literally change the trajectory of your entire life? Absolutely. There's countless stories about it. But do you think about that when you're dating? Like, damn, if I pick the wrong person, this could go left.
No,
if I pick the right person, it could go right.
You typically don't see it until you're already so deep in it or until y'all are in the fallout of it.
Oh, so you don't proactively think about it when you're dating now?
No, because you're in the love bubble, and in the happiness
Oh,
bubble,
speak for
everything is great, and
yourself.
everything is.
Speak for
I mean, unless
yourself.
Speak
unless
for yourself, honey.
Speak for
unless a
yourself.
person is constantly throwing out red flag, daggers, then that's one thing. But if it's all presented wrapped up in this pretty shiny shiny suit package, it's not until it's like now after the fact. But
What were your thoughts?
I'm definitely like, nah, this ain't gonna work. Like, there's been guys that I've dated who I'm like, okay, this is fun, this is cute. Thank you for introducing me to that nice restaurant. But I'm like, this ain't gonna go any further than, where it's gonna go, because I can already tell that the way you live your life is probably not conducive to mine, or like we're not going to really be able to help each other or grow, evolve, like do well, because it does make a huge difference, because you also take on like a lot of the shit that they have, like habits they have, like stuff like, I need somebody to make me better because I be a mess sometimes. So
Yeah, I think actually up until 2022, me and Jeffrey would have had the same answer. But last year I recognized that people that I was spending time with and giving access to were literally a liability to my well-being and my
yeah, a
financial and psychological
liability.
safety.
That's the perfect word.
Yeah, I had a moment where someone that I was in cahoots with literally almost affected my ability to pay my bills and take care of my family. And I was like, ooh, I need to be objective about what I look like to an outside person who's trying to use me as a resource. Because I've never seen myself as a resource before. I thought I was just, a Care Bear with big titties and big hair. And if you like me, you like me, yay. And I was like, no, you're an abundant bitch. And there are people who are lacking, who are going to see you as a come up and not as a partner. And I had never thought like that until last year.
I feel like what you just said, Blue, is very real. Like, again, it's just through my experience of now having these previous relationships and things that I went through. Now I feel like I would be, but in the past I was very much like, it's a carnival. These ain't red flags. Like, what are you talking about? It's Six Flags.
Right. It's a carnival. These ain't red flags. It's a carnival.
Yes, but because I did have a moment like that where financial whatever thoughts up to myself. But now fast forward, yes, I will pay attention to that kind of stuff.
Please
because
do,
I had never experienced it before. Yeah, that's why. But having now experienced it, so I do know moving forward, yes. So yeah.
And I want to shout out Jason Lee, because when I first moved to LA and was working with him, and I was like, why is he so funny about mixing friends? Because Jeffrey, you know how we are. We love just introducing friends to each other, play dates. Yeah, come over.
Tax bracket.
Well, right. And it's like the closer we get, the more he makes a lot of sense. The closer I get to Jason's tax bracket, that man not crazy. And it wasn't until I was at all these things and I had I had a friend who I would just take with me as a +1 to stuff. And they got mad that they didn't come with me to Cardi B's birthday party. I was like, I was a +1. How am I going to add a +1? You can't be a +1 with a +1. You know what I mean?
Don't you hate that? That is
right?
the
Like,
worst.
I don't know how I got into Cardi's party. Are you serious?
I always tell people I am the proud +1.
Thank you. So I don't even know how I'd be ending up in these VIP sections. And I met her friends and they were like, oh, I thought they were going to say, oh, you're her great friend. You guys have great times together. They said, oh, you're the girl who would get her into all the celebrity parties. I was like, I would never categorize you like that. Like, I thought our friendship was deeper than that. And to hear the way that she had been talking about me, I was like, oh, I'm your plug. I was your homegirl. And I was like, oh, babes, you're being a little bit naive here. You don't realize what it looks like. Like, you think it's fun that you got into VIP again, but to people who are not in VIP, they're like, that bitch is always in VIP, and they're looking at it differently. You know what I'm saying? And I think all three of us have that in common, where we're just trying to have a good time. And if we run into somebody who got something popping and they want us to be in the area because we a good time, then so be it, right? We don't intentionally set out to be opportunist. And I think when you're not an opportunist, it's unnatural for you to realize that people are looking at you as an opportunity. Does that make sense, guys?
I already told you, you know what my work ethic is. Being an opportunist takes a lot of work.
It does.
I don't have the work ethic to be. I just be existing, and people like to invite me to places. Okay,
because we're fun. You're a fun person.
Like, it takes a lot of work to be an opportunist. I ain't got that energy.
A lot of friends, people.
I gotta cook. I gotta cook for my friends.
I know. So when are we coming over for the red beans and rice? You didn't really finish that invite. What's up with that?
It's all here. Well, you gotta come before 10 p.m. tomorrow, because I will be on a flight.
Jeffrey, where are you going? Jeffrey, where are you going?
I'm freezing. No, I'm going to celebrate a housewarming. Friends of mine, they just bought a house. So
where are you going? I didn't ask what. Where are you going?
I'm going actually for the first time since 2015. I'm actually going to Atlanta.
Oh,
I have not been right. That's I have not been to Atlanta since 2015.
No disrespect to Atlanta.
No, it's all right because I know
There's probably lovely people in Atlanta. But some
I
of
like
y'all,
Atlanta.
I would love to be able to say that someday.
I'm going to
honestly.
see Jessica, so I already told her Lou she got to
Nice.
do some 2-strand twists for me.
Oh, that's gonna. So you're gonna
First-
come here with your hair swinging on next week?
First time I ever got my hair when I started growing. First time I ever got twisted. Our friend Jessica King, she did it. Lutasha was there, and we just sit. I was sitting in that chair for hours.
Oh, I think I think she and I just started following each other recently. That's so funny.
Yeah, so
Okay, so you're gonna be in Atlanta getting your hair twisted and doing roll
and
bounce and going
housewarming and seeing some friends. Yeah.
And Lulu, what do you have planned for this week?
This week y'all was complaining about getting up at 5. I get up at 4:45 like almost every single day.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We have to
So
get a sponsorship of Lulu out of this.
during the week, I don't really do much because I'm sleepy. Like as soon as we get done with this, I'm going to bed.
I appreciate the
I took
honesty.
a nap today. I have had 2 days of getting up at 5 a.m. and I am drained. I don't do afternoon naps. I took a nap today.
I have a lot of stuff happening with my mom and my family back home, and my phone's been ringing. They keep calling me at 6 a.m. because they don't understand that 6 a.m. is 9 a.m. for them. So I've been getting up super early. This week, I am going to the Debbie Allen Nutcracker premiere thing.
Is it in Redondo Beach?
I don't know. I sent you the invite. I mean, I was going to invite you. Remember, you weren't available for Thursday for the Nutcrackers. Yeah. And then Friday, Mike, our friend Mike Gaio. Is it Goyo? It's Goyo, right? Gaio. So I had it right the first time. I always do that. My Gaio, he's having a thing with Amy and AOB for writers that I really want to just show up and support, because with everything that's happening with the strikes and stuff, it's just always good to be around fellow writers and be like, hey, y'all okay? Everybody good? And then I think there's something happening this weekend. It feels like whenever you're about to leave LA for the holidays, everybody's social calendar fills up with stuff for you before you leave town. So it's like the social calendar has been filling up a lot lately. I'm going to be sad that I'm leaving LA around the 18th, 19th. When are you guys leaving for the holidays? Do you guys know?
I'm leaving on the 16th. Yeah.
How about you, Jeff?
I have no plans past this weekend. I don't plan my life.
Jeffrey, okay, you know what?
Again, literally, I'm telling you, like me going to Atlanta, it happened before I took that nap. So literally, my life comes day to day.
Wow. Okay. On that note, you guys know this.
I have a random question. It's so random. How do you ladies feel about holiday music and movies?
In movies or and movies? And movies?
Holiday movies and music. Yeah.
And music.
I love them. Get me in the Christmas spirit.
I like the R&B ones. Let it snow. I like the R&B ones. Like I like the idea of people smashing and fucking under the Christmas tree by the fireplace or something.
I'm literally one of those people. Like I think Christmas is the song. It is the most wonderful time of the year. I love the holiday spirit, and a preview for the new Eddie Murphy, Tracy Ellis Ross film on Amazon
Candy Cane Lane.
Yes, Candy Cane Lane. It flashed across screen. I was like, ooh, I want to watch that. And my friend, the 24-year-old, said, why do you want to watch that? It's a holiday movie. It's cheesy. And I was like, well, one, it's the holidays.
Wow. The kids are not okay. They're all dead on the inside. Wow.
Like, Grinch head self.
It's supposed to be like the holidays are supposed to be fun and cheesy. Like I have my music, my alarm, I change it on December 1st every year. My Sonos system, it is changed to my Christmas playlist, which is a shuffle of Boyz II Men, Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, Kirk Franklin.
R&B Christmas is my favorite. Yeah,
it's all of it. Like I wake up every day to Eartha Kitt is in there too. I wake up to holiday music every day for 31 days, and I just love it. And then I had another friend who's same age, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I hate holiday movies, and I hate." I was like, "Am I the only one?"
No, I will say this:
happy ending of a Christmas movie. I love all of that stuff.
I will say this, so just that those people don't feel unheard. They might be depressed because in 2012, I remember being at Marshall's. You know when you go to Marshall's and they was playing the holiday music? I would start crying whenever I would hear holiday music because I had really bad memories of Christmas because my family was always working. We were never together. It was just a really lonely and depressing time of year for me. Shout out to therapy. I can now listen to Christmas music now and feel what you feel. But there was a whole section of my life, particularly in my 20s, where I found Christmas incredibly depressing. And it's also the time of year where suicide and unaliving rates spike. It's the time of year where people unalive themselves the most. So the very thing that makes you happy, people who don't have that and who are depressed by it, having it shoved in their faces actually makes them more depressed by comparison.
So these two people specifically that said that, That's not them. They
You
have
know they're
happy
depressed.
memories. No. We talked.
They're not
No,
depressed, and not
are
depression shows
no.
up
These
different
are
ways.
like their Christmases were always very family and very happy and very festive. They just like for whatever reason.
They might be
I asked them. No, I
depressed.
did. I asked them. I asked like, was it linked to something like that? And they was like, no, I just don't like holiday music. So that's what I mean in that general sense. Because there are people like that.
Lulu, this is
But
the conversation about conscious and subconscious again. You feel it happening? I'm sure everything you said is consciously true, friend. Just
I
sometimes
love
people
the holidays. I want everybody to just like, I don't like cold weather. I don't want to see no snow.
You
but
hate
I
cold.
love the music and I love the cheesiness of the films where everything works out for the families. And
People who say they don't know usually have unresolved pain that they just haven't confronted or don't want to admit. So for those folks who hear Christmas carols and want to weep like I did in 2012 before I got help, I need you to know that you're not alone. And that, please recognize that if something that joyous makes you feel that sad and grumpy, there's something there.
I love it.
There's Jeffrey loves it. Jeffrey says holly jolly. He say, "Wow, you really about to decorate?" That's the one thing
I was about to order a Christmas tree on Amazon, but then I started reading reviews of the one that I really wanted. Amazon be delivering some bullshit.
Damn. Well, in case Amazon becomes a sponsor, we can all say that the thoughts of Jeffrey.
They need to fill out them Christmas trees a little more. They Christmas trees be looking, the ones that they advertise as full fluffed out trees. I saw like the reviewers and they would submit photos of what the tree looked like when it got there. You ever see y'all know what a money tree looks like?
Yes.
That's what they advertising as full Christmas trees.
Oh, that's ridiculous. That is absolutely
ridiculous.
Ozempic trees.
Right.
We need to have a conversation too about diet culture. No, we don't need to have a conversation about that. But we need to have a conversation about diet culture come January. Lulu, before we go, has your brother confirmed that he's going to bring his tall, fine Dr. Self to the show or not?
He said that he has to check his schedule, but he's open to it. He's like, "You have a podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Well, because the studio is very finite, he actually has to tell so we can like book it. Like it's booked for the 8th. Do we need to move it?
Let me text him again right now while I'm thinking about it.
I love it in real time. You guys know that the show will be going on a brief hiatus after the week of the 18th. There's only 2 more episodes left before that happens. We're gonna have a special guest next week. Are you guys coming to the studio for my interview with Jason?
When is it? Next week?
Next Monday?
Tell us.
I told you guys, but I just want to make sure before I send the invites out.
Wait, so are we not? Wait, this is probably an offline question.
Yeah, this will be an offline question. We're gonna still do an episode, but it can't be on Monday because Monday's when we're doing Jason's in studio thingamajiggy. But we'll discuss it. Guys, we only have a couple more weeks left, so just make sure that you get your list done of how you want to end the year on a strong point. Lulu and Jeff, tell them how they can find you as usual.
You can find me everywhere at Jeffro5, JEFRO5. That's Instagram, Twitter, all the things. Hit me up. I got red beans and rice for the next couple. I'm gonna freeze it in case.
Can you send it to me via Postmates and I'll cash app you the money?
Okay.
Yeah, send it to me on Postmates because I live close. I only live like 15 minutes from you. How about you, Lulu? Where can they find you?
You can find me at LU_LU19 on Instagram.
And you can also find me at Bluecentric. And for those of you who have been signing up for the On Thy Shift self-mastery class, please recognize this is the last week that it is at the 20% discount price. So that's OTS, it stands for On Thy Shift, OTS24.eventbrite.com. After the week that we are in, it will be $100 more expensive than it is now. And I don't know about you, but $100 is a lot of money for me. So if you want to get a discounted price, please do so this week before. I'm not gonna say the date. Just go sign up. And you guys know that we love you. And as usual, please be gentle with yourselves because we are all just human beings doing human shit. I adore you guys. This was fun. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
I'm going to sleep.